Wizard of Teller is back with a countdown list I had done in a while for the video game slide, that is. So here we go. These are top 10 WWE game storylines that never happened on WTV. Some of these are just, let's be honest, never gonna happen. Now some of these I did this before I did my Raw review last night, so there's that. But here we go. These are, the top 10. These are not the worst or the best. It's just storylines that never happened on TV. So there's that. Anyway, so I have two honorable mentions on here. They didn't make the list. The first one is heel Rey Mysterio from, well, it's mostly SmackDown vs. Raw 2011 and WWE 12, but that match and it'll be on the number one spot, but we'll get to that in a moment. And the other is GM Randy Orton from SmackDown vs. Raw 2011, and we'll put a bone on there at WWE 2K20, but that was he was barely in that storyline, so we'll pass on that. Anyhow, let's get to the main list. And by the way, WWE2K22 is on here 1, 2, 3 times on here. WWE12 is mentioned on here twice, and let's begin. Number 10, Weird Things, WWE2K24. What is that? Well, it's the storyline where you get the ambulance and you're doing like weird stuff, like taking your opponent's souls, like your Shang Tsung, making Finn Balor the demon persona after he won the match, find the manifestation. I did this before in the times where video games got really weird and creepy. Yeah, you know that. So there's that. There's a little like lightning round on that, but you obviously know about that. Number 10 is Weird Things, WWE2K24. Okay, number 9, Samoa Joe and the Robot Arm, WWE2K20. WWE2K20. That game has an identity crisis, and let's just put it in the grave once and for all. But how did Samoa Joe get to this whole thing with the robot arm? Well, it started when your character, Trey, the goofball it is, as this gen's gaming called him, beat Samoa Joe on your first night on Raw to win the Universal title. I'm glad the Universal title is gone for when it was merged with the WWE Championship, but the less I say about that, the better. At least we have the World Heavyweight Championship now. Again. Then Samoa Joe tries to help you keep the belt by attacking both Brock Lesnar and provoke Big Boy Braun, but Joe's plan backfired when Braun won the Universal title in an empty arena match, and that led Samoa Joe to get fired for 7 years in the storyline. And he came back at the end of your match with Drew McIntyre in the Best of 7 series in that New Day theme arena. He comes back with a fucking robot arm. So he's part Edward Elric from Full Metal Alchemist, although that one is a little tragic in the shows, but I won't tell about that because other YouTubers mention it. So yeah, he came back with a fucking robot arm. And this villain, which is Brooklyn Von Braun, don't ever bring her back in another storyline in this year's game, where she's the SmackDown GM. He gives you a WWE Championship match, and Joe helps you just for her to trick you by thinking you're going to escape the Coquina Clutch, but that did not happen. And yeah, the less I said about 2K20, the better. And that last part of the story, kind of rough to get through because there. Number 8. Or that's number 9. Samoa Joe and the Robot R in 2K20. Number 8. ECW versus SmackDown. SmackDown versus Raw 2006. We're going back to 2005 for this installment for the SmackDown versus Raw games. And this is not the only ECW storyline in the game. So in the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, if you're not fighting John Cena, you fight Rob Van Dam for the WWE Championship for WrestleMania. And then after the Royal Rumble, Teddy Long comes back, he brings out the Rumble winner, and Rob Van Dam attacks you with the belt, the WWE Championship, which is spray painted ECW. Kind of NWO of you, Van Dam. Now, we don't know ECW came back as a third brand, but this did not happen in storyline wise, where RVD said ECW's back and we're taking over SmackDown, and there's only two choices you do in this storyline. Either you join up with Rob Van Dam and ECW, or you stay loyal to SmackDown and fight ECW, which it always ends with Rob Van Dam in the hardcore match for the WWE Championship with the ECW spray paint on it. So there's that. That's number 8. ECW versus SmackDown and SmackDown versus Raw 2006. Number 7. 2 Money in the Banks. WWE 2K20. This is the storyline in 2K22 where you get the story where in the men's My Rise, that is, in the Money in the Bank ladder match, where on the SmackDown side, where you win the briefcase. However, the other briefcase holder, which was briefcase holder Kevin Owens, was out for some time, and they ain't never done this in real life. So Owens cashed in at the same time you cash in on Universal Champion Roman Reigns, and Kevin Owens won the blue Universal title, which he didn't held in real life. He held the red version. But you do get the Universal title at the end of the storyline, and yeah, it's kind of a weird storyline. But yeah, 2 Money Bank Inks. In WWE 2K22. That's not the only time that's on here. Number 6. So that's number 7. 2 Money in the Banks. WWE 2K22. Number 6. Big Show leading ECW against Raw and SmackDown. SmackDown versus Raw 2010. This was during the whole brand warfare storyline with Triple H and John Cena from SmackDown vs. Raw 2010. After Royal Rumble, when Big Show won the Rumble, Big Show said he demanded a trade for ECW, and he beats Tommy Dreamer for the ECW Championship. This is like one of the last times ECW was mentioned in a game cover, which was SmackDown vs. Raw 2010. Of course, Big Show will lead ECW against Raw and SmackDown, where they destroy both the WWE and the World Heavyweight Championships. And then this led to Triple H and John Cena taking out ECW, and they ripped up the apron of it. Which, yeah, great idea to destroy an apron on one of the worst brands that we ever did from 06 to 2010. And yeah, it doesn't matter if you're John Cena or Triple H, Big Show will always be the last opponent with either those two. And yeah, number 6, Big Show leading ECW against Raw and SmackDown vs. Raw 2010. Number 5, The Miz SmackDown GM WWE 12. Now, he was the GM on WWE 2K22's My Rise, but we're all going to mention WWE 12 in this scenario. That's another honorable mention, by the way, but it's only in the men's version where he does, like, manipulate you, and if you are not manipulated, whatever. So, this was during the Triple H storyline, where Miz put Triple H on the shelf for over a year, and then came back at WrestleMania to cost Miz the WWE Championship against Randy Orton. And this led to the Triple Threat Extreme Rules match at Extreme Rules between Triple H, The Miz, and WWE Champion Randy Orton. That led to Orton winning, and Miz was going to crush Triple H again, but Orton saves Triple H, and then The Miz got the steps landing on him, and that led to Miz's career be over in storyline, but he was revealed to be the general manager of SmackDown, and this led to you, Miz interrupting, or his goons rather, interrupting your title match at Over the Limit against Randy Orton, and this led to, R-Truth and Edge turning on Triple H at Fatal 4-Way. What a shitty name for a pay-per-view. Well, it's not as bad as Over the Limit or Stomping Ground. Never mind. They joined up with The Miz, and then at Money in the Bank, The Miz got out of the wheelchair, ran into the ring, and cost Triple H the Money in the Bank ladder match. And R-Truth won the ladder match. And that led to The Miz getting fired at SmackDown GM. And this is the story that just ends at SummerSlam. But yeah, that's another story that people know about WWE 12, and that's not the only time WWE 12 is mentioned on here for number 1, by the way. Number 5, The Miz, SmackDown GM, WWE 12. Number 4, AJ Styles hates WCW, WWE 2K22. This is not the memorable WCW storyline on here, because that's number 1, spoiler alert. So, your character, this is the story on the Raw side. Your character wants to do a one-night Nitro, like that's the name of this storyline. It would have been cool if the last match on here was on a WCW Nitro arena, because it's in the game. But, anyways. Then HSL says, I've been in WCW before, which, let's be fair here, no, I don't even have memories of you in WCW, but yes, that was like one of the last months of it. I mean, let's be fair here, that was 2001, but yeah. And then HSL attacks your character and attacks some WCW guys, like Booker T, Kevin Nash, X-Pac, Rey Mysterio, and kicks the WCW logo down and says, yeah. Then Finn, for some reason, tries, it's in this storyline, and then Kevin Nash turns on you, and again, this led to a cage match on a random SO Raw. Again, it would have been cool if it was on the Nitro Arena, because it's in the games. They're still in the game since 2K17. Why couldn't it? Fucking hell, man. But yeah, that's number 4. AJ Styles hates WCW 2K22. Okay, last 3. The last 3 I'm going to mention right here. Number 3. Let's go ahead, I'm wearing this shirt. It's Charlotte Flair and the 4 Queens, W2K22. I'm going to say it right now, this is my least favorite storyline in the game. Because, 1, Charlotte is way better on her own than in a fucking group. Which, let's be fair, they better not do that in real life, though, at the time of this recording. So, the 4 Queens faction in this story, it was her, Natalya, Tamina, and Nia Jax attacking your character, and this is part of the Raw storyline, and you get injured in this. There's 2 choices. 1, you get a group to fight them, or go on your own, but it doesn't matter. I'm just quickly going through this because it always ends when you find Charlotte for the title, and that's it. So that's number 3. Charlotte Flair and the Four Queens, WWE 2K22. That's the last one of WWE 2K22, by the way. And that's part of the women's one. If you know, you know. Number 2. Trish Stratus, the champion, SmackDown vs. Raw 2007. My favorite game ever, has a storyline that never happened. It's part of the Behind Every Great Man storyline from SmackDown vs. Raw 2007. It was a title defense storyline. Trish was managing Chris Masters. She helped him win the WWE Championship, but then it becomes vacated, and then it becomes a triple threat match at SummerSlam. And, well, quotation marks, because you're only fighting Chris Masters. And then after that, there was a cutscene of playing where you and Masters are still fighting, and then Trish hits not only your character in the Family Jewels, but Chris Masters in the Family Jewels, and after she won the title, she kicks referee Mike Hill in the Family Jewels. But the title becomes vacated again the following night after that match. And, by the way, you know what the story ends? You find the Big Show and Unforgiven for the vacated title. So there's that. Number 2, Trish Stratus, WWE Champion, SmackDown vs. Raw 2007. And finally, number 1, WCW returns WWE 12. Is it obvious? With Kevin Nash coming back, becoming the GM of Raw and SmackDown, says he wants to bring back, Clash of Champions for the month of December, so he replaced TLC with a WCW pay-per-view. And that main event was featuring John Cena and Rey Mysterio for the World Heavyweight Championship. I mean, it makes sense. Rey Mysterio was a WCW wrestler before, and the Big Gold Belt was a WCW belt before. But everyone noticed, this was a revival of WCW as an invasion storyline. But if only Goldberg was in the game, because he was not in the game. He was not a feature in the game until WWE 2K14. But this led to, Kevin Nash bringing back guys like Arn Anderson, Animal, Vader, Booker T, and they all attack Rey and Cena, and then Cena tells your character to fight with him. And this led to Cena getting injured at Clash of Champions. Or Clash of the Champions, rather. Then Big Show and Cody Rhodes joins WCW. I mean, that makes sense. Cody's father was a big name there, and Big Show was the giant in WCW, so makes sense. At least it's not like in 2001. Where they have Christian and Tess join the alliance. That was stupid anyways. Then they put Undertaker on the show, which is the WWE Champion. Then they allegedly put Rey Mysterio on the shelf. Allegedly in quotation marks. This led to Triple H coming back, and he's the new GM of Raw and SmackDown. And this led to the Elimination Chamber, where Rey Mysterio turns on your character, and he wins the WWE Championship via the fucking finger poke of doom. In video game form, and they spray paint the WCW on the WWE Championship, same with the Big Gold Belt, and that's like to, a title, or the family and Raw on the line, your Jacob Cass, and Triple H versus Kevin Nash and Rey Mysterio, and shockingly, WCW won. This led to return of Monday Nitro, until, Triple H says, the fate of WWE is on the line, Team WWE versus Team WCW in a Hell in a Cell War Games elimination match at Starrcade. Yeah, why did I say Hell in a Cell War Games elimination match? Because that's what it is, really. And at the end, WCW lost. So that's number 1. WCW returns WWE 12. Is that good enough? Is there any storylines I forgot to mention? Because I don't think. That's like the 10 I said. From, 2 money bank holders, ECW versus SmackDown, Trish being WWE Champion, which that's never gonna fucking happen regardless of that. And 2 WCW storylines. 2 WCW storylines. Jesus Christ. But anyways, tomorrow will be episode 64 Showdown, and then Thursday my second channel says Radical Vacation Mail on that one, so you'll see on Thursday TNA Against All Odds 2005. And Friday will be the SmackDown review, and there. Like this video, comment below, subscribe to this channel, ring the notification bell, and there. Goodbye.